my name is Melody from Melody Crochet, and today I come to you with episode 35 of the Melody Crochet podcast. This is where I come to you from my home here in Texas, where I stay with my husband, my 2 dogs, and my 2 wonderful boys, and I share my knitting and crochet projects from the prior week. Along with that, there's the whips, the finished objects, and the what have I done section at the end, where I share what I have accumulated and just overshare my yarn obsessed life in general. Now on the channel, if you're new, I also do reviews of yarn and notions and tutorials for the patterns that I've made from my blog, MelodyCrochet.com. If you like, I would love it if you would subscribe. And if you're returning, hello, how are you? And give you a massive hug from me. Thanks for coming back, and I hope you're doing well. I would love to see what you're making. We have a Ravelry group over at Ravelry. You just search Melody Crochet Podcast and the group comes up. We finished 2 alongs that I need to give out the prizes for, and I'm starting another one, and I'll show you the prize for that in just a few. What else? Oh, Instagram. I have all of the social media linked down below. If you'd like to come join me on Instagram, I would love to see what you're making, show you what I'm making. I'm also a really big fan of Instagram stories. So let us settle in. It has been a week. I am drinking Celestial Seasonings Cranberry Vanilla Wonderland, and it tastes good, but it smells fabulous, just like dried cranberries and vanilla. Oh my goodness. Now, okay, let's start with that. Finished object number 1, the Mirage Hat from Hannah over at Cozy Cottage Crochet. Love her to pieces. She is awesome, and she gave me a present. She gave me the pattern, and this is made, like I said, it's a Mirage Hat Cowl, and this is out of Lion Brand's jeans yarn in the colorway Classic, which I am just all about this color. How pretty is that? Oh, I have rubbed off my nail polish. It's not chipped, literally rubbed off from the yarn. This is deep Christmas making for those of us that take commissions. I have 4 more weeks. I usually do the cutoff somewhere around the 10th of December, and it's been a wild time. A very, very wild time. And not everybody can get a hold of me, but somehow everybody gets a hold of me. It's amazing. If there's anything you'd like me to make, you feel free to just shoot me a line, because I am making the things right now. But back to my Mirage Cowl. This is going to be about the things that I made for me. These are not going to be commissions or anything. This is all me and my family stuff. And you'll note that I am deeply diving into the knitting patterns, because when I crochet for other people, I feel like knitting is cross-training. So I just have a hankering to start leaning toward knitting near the end of the year. Look at the Pom Poms though. I love Pom Poms. But they do make it so I'm going to have to hand wash this. So I hand washed this to block it, which it blocked out beautifully. That herringbone stitch, oh my gosh, so pretty. But I blocked it out, and this jeans yarn takes a really long time to dry. Literally 3 days, and it's in my laundry room, but I keep the fan blowing so air circulates, and I put it on a microfiber towel, and every time I walk by, because it's on the way to the garage, every time I walk by, I flip it. So I had plenty of chance to air out. It took forever. I'm like, I want to wear my hat. So I now get to. And so pretty. And I love that it's a cowl too. That way I can keep it on as a cowl and then put it on my hat when the time comes. And it's a ponytail hat too, because I work the messy bun on the regular. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you for letting me make it. And oh my gosh, thanks for a fabulously written pattern. Very, very much love it. And then there's this. This was my son's hat. Oh, good. The color's popping up. I podcasted at night last time and used my lighting. Natural light is the way to go, isn't it? Oh my goodness. Way better. I was trying to share with you guys how the cherry pinks or the cherry reds and the tomato reds are in the same yarn on this Cascade 220 tonal in red, and I just love it. I actually got this a few years ago, this yarn. I picked it up, 2 balls of it, so that I could make Santa hats out of it, and I have some new yarn for that, so I figured no harm no foul in letting him grab this, because this is the color he wanted, and he picked out the pattern, Stephen West's Yes Checks pattern. It's a grown-up's hat, but fits him nicely. He's 9 years old. He's not a big guy by any means, but he's not swimming in it. It's just kind of big. It's just right. It's tight enough to keep him warm, because if it was too loose, you know, air gets in there. It's not going to keep him toasty. But his ears are nice and warm. It covers his entire head. No harm, no foul. And I really, really like it. So there is that. My older son's looking at it though. I think he's going to want one. For him, I would probably add on one more row of checks. He's got a pretty large noggin. What can I say about this? The yarn is fabulous. I actually went back and got more Cascade 220, which I'll share with you shortly. I really, really like it. This is the super wash. So I could technically throw this in the washer, but it hand washes and dries so fast. I blocked this and the other hat at the same time, and this was dry the next morning under the same situation, and it is wool. I'm looking at you, Lion Brand jeans. I'm judging. But it smells so good because I use my Tufts. I think it's the blueberry lemonade. Oh my gosh, so good. Tufts wool wash. They have it over at Tufts. I think it's just tufts.com, Tufts. Ooh, so Tufts Woolens. There it is, tuftswoolens.com. And I am addicted to them. I probably have about 5 or 6 scents from them, and every time I go I have to smell each and every one that they have. They have a new Christmas one out right now. Apple cider. That was it. I almost grabbed it, but I don't need another one. I haven't even opened up this one. Ready what? Grabbed this one not that long ago, so that's them. Tuft Woolens, and this one's Campfire S'mores. Oh, smells just like toasty marshmallows. It's so good. I wish I'd used that on the hats, but I still have so much of the other ones. It just doesn't make sense. I still have some of 3 prior bars sitting there, and they stay great as long as you let them air dry. They're fabulous, and you can use them on your hands. She was saying that you can just use them as soap. They wash your hands just fine and keep them nice and soft because there's lots of lanolin in them. But I bought them for my woolens, so I don't know about that. Okay, so that's 2 finished objects. Then those were started and nearly finished by the time I podcasted last time. So I had lots of time to work on this, which I only was just a thought at that point. Let me make sure this is right side out. It's super hard to tell. This is from a new crochet on YouTube. Her Easy Breezy Crocheted Bernadette cardigan. And I love it. Oh my gosh, look at that. And these are not itchy at all. It's like they don't exist. It's just soft and fluffy, and they're just like threads. They're just like feathery. And I have this much left of the 2 cakes that I got, and there's just greens and blues and aquas, and I like it very much. Hers was even piecier. She used the red macaroon, which has kind of a coral to orange to peach range in it, but I like this. So, the bell sleeves. The construction's awesome. You start from the back, and this is a free pattern on her blog. You use all 3 of these hooks, which these are specifically the ones that I used, my Clover Amours, in L, really? No, K. K, L, and N. So 6.5 millimeter, 8 millimeter, and 10 millimeter. And that's how a lot of the shaping is done. Just going from one hook to the next, which I like. Keeps it super simple, right? And then she did a little bit of dramatic decreases here for this bell sleeve, which is just too much. Probably, looking back, as a rule, too much for me. I'm usually not a floofy person, and I was honestly looking for a place to stop before the bell sleeve. And there just wasn't one, because look at that. It's huge, and I did the small medium size. And there's no gauge issue here. This is what it's supposed to look like. It's what hers look like, and it's what I was hoping to achieve. And even though there's a whole lot of holes in this, it's still rather toasty. It's fabulous over pajamas at night. I wouldn't call it a robe, but it keeps the breeze away. Say somebody opens the back door or something. So, I'm very pleased. My son wants me to get more of this yarn and make him a blanket, the littler one. Hopefully we can find some nice masculine colors, because he won't be about it if it's too fluffy. Let me show you what we got here. Hello, Hunter. I have two dogs at my feet. This is where we came to. I shortened it by, let's see. Look at the sleeve. Awesome. I shortened it by about 9 rows. So it was supposed to also be longer, and Anu's is longer on her. It hits almost knee length. I wasn't about that though. I have some longer cardigans just because long cardigans are kind of in right now. So my purchased ones are long and it kind of bugs me. So I didn't want anything very long. So I stopped. I'm 9 rows shorter on the front and 9 rows shorter on the back. So probably about that much. I'm not super tall. But I went all the way on the width and on the sleeves. So everything this way is what it's supposed to be. And they're huge! And this yarn is so slick. There is no keeping these sleeves up if I need to do dishes. I actually have folded them a few times, and it's so slick they come unfolded. So I just have to take it off when I'm doing dishes. Darn it. Or don't do dishes. Always an option, right? So that is my Anu Easy Breezy Bernadette vest. I believe she calls it a vest. Very, very pleased. If you have any questions about it or the pattern, feel free to put them down below, or go see her at MelodyCrochet on YouTube. I think she had, she started a velvet dress. She used the same as my bag, the Bernadette velvet, and I'm thinking of making it. I have 2 balls of the lavender. I think they're right. Yeah, you can only see one, but it's right there, and I put one behind that. And I have another ball of the gray, which is, so the purple is gray orchid, and this one is vapor gray. And I believe I have 1 or 2 more in navy blue running around. And I might make the dress that she has put up out of the velvet yarn. I have not thought about knitting with this. If you have knitted with any of the velvety yarns right now, let me know. I'm very, very curious. But my Anu cardigan is my last finished object. So we are deep into whipland now. Sip. So, something happened. Do you guys know who Caitlin Hunter is? There's some interviews with her on the internet, especially with Christy Glass. She's amazing and makes these amazing knitted sweaters in color work, and they're so beautiful. And she sells them for buy 3 get 1 free, and has lots of amazing patterns, and somehow I ended up buying 3 and getting 1 free. So then I had to buy the yarn to go with her patterns, which is kind of steep because, you know, they're sweaters. It's not like a little item. And I'm just gonna let it go. No remorse. Let's just get into it, shall we? First and foremost, I'm going to make her Tecumseh. I love that sweater, but not my colors, right? So I needed some yarn for that. The yarn I went with is Cascade 220 Heathers. Now the body of my sweater, so I went over to Fiber Circle, and this is the color of my sweater. This is the soft pink Cascade 220 Heathers, and I got 4 of those because it takes a little bit of yardage. It's not a small sweater. I believe she calls for about 10 inches of positive ease. So I got my soft pink. It's a cool tone pink. They had one in a very similar lightness, but it was a warm tone pink. But I just prefer cool tones against me, especially this time of year. They just feel more cheerful. Now, it also calls for 2 complementary colors. So that feathery pattern at the bottom is going to be in the violet color. Now I was a little torn. Part of me did and does wonder if I should be making it almost all in the purple, also Cascade 220 Heathers, with the feathers in the light pink. And then I justified getting the other ones because I can make a great big old slouchy hat in the complementary color, since I'll either be using all of these and one of the pink, or all of the pink and one of these. The rest can be in a hat and maybe some mittens. So I got those. And then I needed just a little bit for the little X's. And I went with this one. So I'm really excited. I got my gauge, I got my needles, I'm all ready to get started, and I'm in love with this sweater, and I haven't even started it. So hopefully it will only take me a few weeks. And I got gauge with the correct needles first try. It was right on. So that is living in my awesome granny bag. If you haven't heard of her, I'd be surprised, but Darlene over Awesome Grannies sent me a bag to try out. So I'm totally trying it out, even though it's obviously awesome. And I love a bag that has a handle that can actually fit my hand in. Sometimes they're so small that you can't actually get your hand in there. Have you seen that? Then it has the little key ring, and it came with the cutest little matching bag. And me and my husband love jellyfish, so this fabric was just a no-brainer. It's so pretty. And she has a couple others that I think I need to order. One with these beavers on it. They look like hipsters. It's so cute. And this is the one she gave me to give away to you guys. Isn't that beautiful? I don't want to take it out of the plastic. I want to keep it all ready to ship. It's huge. Mine is holding 800 grams of yarn, so 8 skeins of yarn, and it has no problem whatsoever. It's huge. It opens up on the bottom. It's massive. So we're going to be having it along for the Christmas making. I want to see what you guys are making for Christmas. It's pretty much just a selfish way to find out what you guys are making for Christmas. It was like bribery. So that's going to run through the end of the year, starting right now. I'll get that post up on Ravelry. Show me what you're making. What you making? Are you guys already making for the holidays? I guess you can make something for yourself. I'm not terribly picky. I just want to see what's going on. So we'll get that started. And next up is my Zweig. Now, if you haven't seen it, this Zweig is also by Caitlin Hunter, and it is a really pretty solid. It has kind of a textured cross pattern. And then it has kind of a lace detailing on the chest. I'll try and get a better picture for you guys. But I'm in love with this. I cannot wait to finish the Zweig. I had the color of the solid picked out for the last couple of months, and I knew when I saw Madeline Tosh's Himiko colorway, I wasn't even sure what base I wanted, but this is so my color in every way. It basically goes from a bright violet to black and everything in between, and it is so pretty. So I have that already, and I picked out my complementary speckle is Hydroponic, also by Madeline Tosh. And it has the black speckle that matches the black in the Himiko. And then if you open it up, and I have, and worn it pretty much like this. Every now and again, let me see if I can find one. Here was one. You find this purple speckle that matches the Himiko beautifully. So there they are. I will need one more Himiko. But this is my Zweig, and it too is already, what do you call it? Swatched. I don't even know how to say swatch because it's not fun. But how pretty is that together? That's going to be my Zweig. It's a fingering weight sweater. It takes about 4 balls of yarn. I'm doing the medium size on this one. It takes a little less positive ease. I think it takes 4 inches of positive ease, which the medium will be fine. And the other one I want large because I definitely want a nice roomy Tecumseh. So there she is. I'll need one more ball, and I should have just gotten it. I was at the store, had the other ball of Madeline, Tosh, and Himigo in my hand, and I'm like, oh, I'll be back. I should have grabbed it. Heaven forbid I go back and it's not there. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I'll probably make that happen this weekend. But I love it. I could not love this combination more. And why am I making 2 of them at the same time? Card knitting, where you're just working around in a circle, they're going to be at different stages for card knitting. So I won't be able to bring the Tecumseh out and about when I'm doing the color work, because that's going to be too detailed. So I figured at that point I can be working the sleeve or the boring part of my Zweig, and vice versa. So I figure between the 2 of them, I'll always have something on the go that I can use as boredom knitting, because there's a lot of visiting and a lot of functions and a lot of just kind of hanging out and travel time and car time in December, right? So I'm going to be all the way ready. Now let's say I finish. I also got a Tegna. Tegna, also by Caitlin Hunter, is this really pretty fingering weight sweater with lace detailing at the bottom, and it just kind of opens up at that lace detail, and I believe it's worked from the bottom up. So I'll be finishing with that lace first, and then I hear you just kind of have to go quite a ways, because like I said, it's fingering weight. And it looks like it just hangs so beautifully, and look how delicate and gorgeous that is. But that's not me. I mean, I'd like to think delicate and gorgeous, but understated is not my thing. So we're going to be using my Leon Alexander yarn for this. Yes, these 2 and this. Purple. It doesn't look like it, but these both have a good deal of this color in them, along with every other color. Look at that. Where's some purple? You can probably see it. There's a good deal there, and a good deal of the speckles. There's no black in it. I should put it that way. Everything dark you see is that purple. So we're going to fade from this, and then we'll do a couple stripes to kind of try and mix them a bit back and forth to this. And yay, Leon Alexander. That is so pretty. I wish that this looked better on me than this. Neither of them are particularly, you know, flattering, but the color combination that I'm working with, I don't want to do the dark on top and then bright by my hips. I don't think that's logical. So I'm thinking I'm going to start with a little of this, and then go to the pink, and then do the yellow. So like this. This would be closest to my face. I'm thinking that's going to be my best bet. But that could change. And I have not swatched for this because this is a minute off. So I do have a couple other things on the go. Now, my Santiam Slouch by Kelli Martin. Oh my gosh. I finally got to start it. I was on the cardigan from Anew for a couple days, and then I finally got to start my slouchy hat. And I went over, the only reason I say finally is because I had to go and get the proper needles. Turns out I didn't have the 2 sizes that I required in 16-inch. So I decided to try 2 different kinds of needles, and these are Knitter's Pride Zings. And I've tried these in the sock ones, the sock DPNs, but these are actually really nice. The join is not fabulous. These cost $5 though for circular needles. So if you're like, oh, I don't want to buy expensive knitting needles and this, that, and the other, they're not always expensive at the local yarn store. They do go up to like $15 now and again, and I'm sure that there's more expensive. There's like the signatures and such, but I think the most that I've actually paid is maybe $12 for a circular needle set. And these being 5, I had to see how they were, and they are great for this color work. And yay, $5. I hope I can find more. I do not love the join though. I will just come out and say it. There's almost a little rub, and I do have to force it over. But the feel of the actual needles is fabulous. And I started with the brim. The brim is a folded over brim. So it's super squishy and warm, and a slightly special and slightly different than average starch. This is Madeline Tosh DK Twist in Raspberry Cordial and Madeline Tosh DK Twist in Gossamer. And it looks like it's puckering, but it's just because it's on little needles. I left plenty of room on those floats. Probably more than I needed to in most situations, but heaven forbid you get puckery color work, right? So I'm suspecting that after this is blocked, it's going to be just perfect. Because if I open it up and give it all the room it wants to, it lays beautifully. And I'm loving those triangles, and I'm loving the bold contrast without anything too flashy, and I cannot wait to have this. It looks like I just need to repeat this section right here 2 more times, and this took me maybe a couple hours. This took me an evening. This was like an afternoon, and then this was that evening, and I need to do this 2 more times. And I think it's going to be a lot faster now, because there's a little bit of, when you get back into color work for the first time, after a while, there's a little bit of slowness, just kind of remembering how you knit color work and getting yourself in, getting your ducks in a row, if nothing else. And I just love it. So pretty. That raspberry cordial, so pretty. And it needed a pom-pom. I was over in Farmersville this weekend, and I went to the Fiber Circle yarn store. That's where I got my Cascade 220 for my Tecumseh. You can't tell, but the tips match the gray perfectly. They're that warm beigey gray. And the inside is a cool tone. And then the tips are black. And I can't even. It's so fluffy. Okay, so that is my plans. We're going to finish this up. We're going to start those 2 sweaters. If those 2 sweaters show great progress, then I will start the 3rd sweater. And we're going to finish that really, really fast. Maybe. I'm not going to share my Jada and Stitches Victorian sampler because I'm going to share that next week on the podcast. I figure it doesn't look that different than it did last time. But I will share where we're at on my little virus shawl. This is a Mandala. And this colorway is Peacock. It's so pretty. And I'm so glad that it's coming along. I only do this during meditation time. It's living in my dragon bag. It's a drawstring with mustard inside. So pretty. And I have this much to go. So we have these purples to lilac to blue. And now I'm going to go green and end in turquoise. Then I want to do a reasonable amount, probably a good couple of repeats in this black, which is, you can hardly see it, huh? It's the Joy DK from Loops and Threads. And it's so soft and yummy. And since it's a size 3 yarn, it's going to fit beautifully with my Mandala in Peacock. So this is Lion Brand Mandala. I just got the 1 ball, which is not like me. But I figured I'm not going to need too much more for a virus shawl. It's growing so quickly and so pretty, and it's just a potato chip. It's great for when I'm just sitting down having a quiet moment. Boop. And it's hard to tell, but these open up so nicely when you block them at the end, and they are not warm. So this is definitely an over the sun dress kind of a thing, just for looks. But even though they're not really warm as a shawl, if you bring them up as a scarf, they are pretty toasty because Mandala is 100% acrylic and nice and soft and feels great on the neck. So that is where my virus shawl is. Now, let's talk about what have I done and what I'm going to be doing in the near future. Now, coming up quickly is my swap. I think I have about a month to finish preparing my swap package for my friend that I'm making the stocking for. So if you are her, turn around, go away, shut this off. I'm about to overshare, and I will keep oversharing on the podcast, so don't look at this. Now, I was going to be using a different yarn, but I knew I wanted something rather bulky to crochet up her stocking. Then I remembered I had this. Before I found Bernadette Velvet, I had seen, I know it's a mess, I haven't used it. This is just what happens with velvet yarn. But this is the Velvety Smooth from Hobby Lobby by Yarn Bee in the color red. For $4.50 you get 80 yards, which is not a ton, but it's in the super bulky range, so it's bulkier than the Bernadette Velvet. So it is falling to pieces. I need to hurry up and start before it actually just disappears. I don't want to roll it into a ball because I think it will lose some of its plushiness. That's why I'm just letting it do its thing. I'm like, just keep it in one place while it does this. If this comes off, and it will very easily, that's how this happened, then this is going to look like this in no time at all. So I need to get on this, but I'm going to make her, there's no pattern, but I'm going to make her a crochet cabled Christmas stocking. I might need more though, because 90 yards, I'm kind of paranoid about that. Cables take a little bit of extra yarn, so we'll see how that turns out. And if it just turns out terribly, I'll just do a nice normal basic Christmas stocking out of the velvet because it's so pretty. So I think it can hold its own even without the cable. I just have a hankering to see the velvet worked up in a cable. I'm all about the texture right now. So that is going to be in the works. And then I'm also needing to I make my slippers for people out of Charisma, hey, from Loops and Threads. And this is the Peacock colorway, almost certain. Northern Lights, forgive me. This is the Northern Lights colorway. And I love Charisma for slippers, not for much else. I keep fixing that for myself. I don't like it for much else, but it's great for slippers. One of my favorites. And being bulky as it is, they work up really fast and they're nice and comfy. So I have 2 balls of this. I need to make 2 pairs of slippers. I will probably need 1 more of this, but they always have it and it's a fabulous price. I want to say about $3 usually. So it's slipper season. So that's coming up very, very soon. And I need to work a pair over at the blog forever ago. I have a pair of Fingerless Mitts and they tend to be what I fall back on when people order them. So I have had some people wanting some Fingerless Mitts. And I love this yarn. It's the yarn I used for my first pair. And it's the Andes Alpaca. It's mostly acrylic with a little alpaca. It has a pretty halo, but it holds up really nicely. And I love that colorway. So I'll be making up some Fingerless Mittens because it's getting cold, right? There's another thing. Oh, I got one of these because my son got me one and I just couldn't think of anything to make with just one of them. So I saw this and I said, okay, I'm going for it. And I have no idea what to make out of this. If you have any suggestions, I'd love to hear. Maybe a sweater, maybe a t-shirt pattern, I'm not sure, but it's got, I think 10% alpaca, or is it 20? 10% alpaca, the rest is acrylic. Really pretty halo. I love anything with any alpaca in it whatsoever. Absolutely wonderful. I grabbed it since I was at Hobby Lobby. Grabbed a little bit more of my turquoise and my white of the I Love This Cotton because it's what's going in my Jaded and Stitches blanket. So now that's in the pattern basket with those. And on that note, I'm gonna call it. I am so excited about the week ahead of us, the weekend, the making. I'll be sharing over on Instagram. I want to see what you're making too. Please come see me over in the Ravelry group, MelodyCrochet from Ravelry. Please come visit me on the blog, MelodyCrochet.com. Please come see me on the Instagram. I'm MelodyCrochet there. On Ravelry, by the way, I'm MelodyCrochet 2 with a number 2 after it. But thanks for stopping in. Have a great week, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!